Muscle cars are the beating heart of American automotive culture. Loud, aggressive, and unapologetically powerful. They're plastered on posters, idolized in movies, and argued over at every car meet from coast to coast. But let's be honest, not every muscle car lives up to the hype. Some ride entirely on nostalgia. Others look the part, but leave you yawning behind the wheel. And a few are sold as street demons when, in reality, they're barely more than trim packages in disguise. This isn't a hit job on the classics or modern monsters. It's a reality check. Just because a car is a V8 and a loud exhaust doesn't mean it deserves a spot on the pedestal. So let's burn some rubber off the myth and dive into 10 overrated muscle cars that didn't quite earn the praise they've been given. Number 10. The Hellcat made headlines as soon as it dropped, thanks to its monstrous 707 plus horsepower supercharged V8 and loud, menacing looks. But while it sounds impressive on paper, driving one reveals the truth. It's more dragster brag and all-around muscle car excellence. It's ridiculously heavy, tipping the scales at over 4,400 pounds, and struggles with handling, braking, and agility. Throw it into a corner, and you'll feel like you're piloting a cruise ship with a rocket strapped to it. Add in the fact that most owners rarely get a tap into its full power outside of controlled drag racing environments, and the Hellcat ends up being more of a burnout machine than a true performance benchmark. It's a sledgehammer in a world that's moved on to scalpels. Number 9. This car gets praised for being the affordable way to own a Mustang, while still offering solid speed and fuel efficiency. But when you strip away the Mustang badge and look at it for what it really is, a turbocharged four-cylinder sports coupe, the flaws start to show. It lacks the soul and rumble of a traditional V8, which is kind of the whole point of owning a muscle car in the first place. While the performance is decent in numbers, the sound is synthetic and flat. The acceleration feels clinical rather than visceral, and many owners report that it just doesn't feel like a Mustang should. It's the muscle car that forgot what muscles were for. All show, not enough growl. Number 8. The V6 Camaro is another car that looks mean and muscular from the outside, but feels underwhelming behind the wheel if you're expecting classic muscle thrills. Sure, it's got good power for a V6, and it handles better than earlier Camaros, but it suffers from an identity crisis. It doesn't deliver that thunderous, raw V8 experience, and it's not refined or efficient enough to compete with premium sports coupes. Plus, the Camaro's visibility issues, cramped interior, and oddly designed infotainment layout don't help. At the end of the day, most buyers opt for the V8 anyway, and those who don't often find themselves wanting more than the V6 can deliver. It's a car that looks the part, but falls short where it matters. Number 7. When GM announced the return of the legendary GTO nameplate, expectations were sky high. Instead, what we got was a rebadged Australian Holden Monero. Yes, the car packed serious power under the hood. The LS1 and later the LS2 V8 engines were potent and smooth. But the GTO styling was universally criticized for being bland and uninspired. It looked more like a big Saturn coupe than a reincarnated muscle icon. Interior quality was average, and the car lacked the drama and aggression that defined the original GTO. Despite its mechanical competence, it never captured the hearts of enthusiasts the way it should have. Today, it has a niche fan base, but many still view it as a major letdown considering the legacy it carried. Number 6. The original 1969 Charger Daytona was a revolutionary, NASCAR-bred monster with a pointed nose and a massive rear wing. The modern version? Not so much. While it slaps on nostalgic decals, a rear spoiler, and sometimes throws in a little performance bump with a Scat Pack or 392 trims, the Daytona named today is mostly a marketing play. It doesn't come with any real aerodynamic improvements or substantial power advantages over other trims. It's still a big, heavy, four-door sedan, practical, sure, but far from the razor-sharp performance machine the name suggests. Many buyers end up feeling like they paid more for branding than meaningful upgrades. In short, it's a badge and a stripe package pretending to be something more. Number 5. Slapping the SS badge on a car used to mean something special. Not so much with the early 2000s Monte Carlo SS. A front-wheel drive coupe with a V6 engine, it was a far cry from the tire-shredding rear-wheel drive V8 monsters of the past. While it had NASCAR-inspired styling cues and limited edition trims with driver names like Dale Earnhardt or Jeff Gordon, it was all flash and no fury. The handling was soft, the power delivery unimpressive, and it leaned more toward grandpa cruiser than muscle machine. It's often remembered more for being a sales gimmick than a true performance car, making its muscle car reputation feel like a joke in hindsight. Number 4. The Torino GT gets brought up occasionally as an underrated classic, but in reality, it was often more style than substance, unless you shelled out for the high-performance Cobra Jet or 429 variants. Most Torinos came with middling V8s that didn't exactly set the street on fire. It was a big, heavy car, and it drove like one, more suited to long cruises and aggressive runs. The interior was uninspiring, and the car lacked the visceral appeal of rivals like the Chevelle SS or Charger R/T. It looked fast but didn't always deliver, and as such, it's often remembered more fondly than its actual performance deserved. Number 3. The GS was Buick's muscle car, meant to combine power with luxury. And it did, sort of. The GS 455 had a massive engine and made huge torque, but the car itself was heavy and soft around the edges. The suspension was tuned for comfort, not corner carving, and it lacked the aggressive edge that defined many of its muscle car contemporaries. It was never a top choice among enthusiasts back then, and yet it's often brought up today in nostalgic lists of forgotten muscle gems. The truth is, it was more of a comfortable cruiser with a big engine than a true performance machine, making it more cruiser than bruiser. Number 2. The Dodge Demon is perhaps the most extreme modern muscle car ever built. 840 horsepower, drag radials, trans brake, and a single front seat in its base configuration. It's a monster on the drag strip, capable of wheelies and 9-second quarter miles. But that's where its usefulness ends. On normal roads, it's frustrating, noisy, and nearly undrivable in rain or cold. The tires wear out fast, and most buyers never even take them to the strip. Add to that the overinflated pricing on the used market and the fact that much of its performance is inaccessible to the average driver, and it becomes clear the Demon is a purpose-built toy sold to people who rarely use it for its purpose. It's more hype machine than actual performance daily driver. Number 1. Plymouth Roadrunner. The original Roadrunner was designed to be a bare-bones, budget-friendly muscle car, fast in a straight line and cheap enough for young buyers. While it certainly succeeded in that goal, it's now remembered as a legend, often glossing over its glaring weaknesses. Most Roadrunners came with bench seats, plastic interiors, and few creature comforts. The base engines were solid but not spectacular, and even the vaunted 440 and Hemi variants were difficult to manage without modern suspension and brakes. The car's fame largely came from smart marketing, including that famous beep beep horn and a catchy name, not from dominance on the street or strip. In hindsight, the Roadrunner was more a cultural icon than a performance benchmark, making its status today feel a bit exaggerated.